So how much are you training now?
Do you know what? So that's one of those things where I just completely turned it upside down and barely trained. I really don't. I don't train much. So I think honestly, I did it for so long, kind of burned out, and then like as I kind of said, hey, okay, it's enough. Enough is enough, and it's just complete opposite. Now it's time to enjoy my desserts, enjoy all the good food, enjoy time like not training. And okay, I should say also that I've been running a business. A big
Yeah.
part of my decisions these days are obviously evolved around the business, and that takes up like probably 12 hours of the day, right? So whatever time is left outside of sleeping in the business, there's really not that much time. But
And you're running the training business that Lauren is
yes,
the
founder,
founder. Yeah.
yeah,
And what's the name of it again?
grown strong,
Grown Strong. And
yeah.
it's a pretty successful business, I should add. So
Oh, thank you.
I want people to know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are doing what you guys do, but you guys have done it really well.
Well, thank you.
You
I'm
know,
trying.
well, a lot of the OGs, and it's funny that I'm calling Lauren because she just seems so young and so that she's an OG of CrossFit, which
She
is
really,
like
yeah,
crazy.
you're right.
I
She
mean, you
is.
both are. And a lot of the OGs have built these training programs and people follow them and some do well and some don't do well, but you guys have
Yeah.
been very successful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true. It definitely seemed like there was a period of time. I think we've come over it a little bit, but I think we're still in it where everyone just thought that, hey, let's start an online program. Let's get 1,000 members and then on a reoccurring subscription, and life is good. But gosh, it's and I guess to a certain degree we were almost thinking that as well. I think we truly, when Lauren started Grown Strong, she truly had a deeper purpose in thinking about like memberships, and honestly, Lauren couldn't care less about the business aspects of it. Like that's not entirely true, but she really don't care much about that. She cares a lot more about like the impact and trying to like actually make a difference. Where for me is certainly also that, but for me it's more the business. I'm more attracted to the business side of things.
Yeah,
Um,
that's me and my wife. We're complete opposites.
oh yeah,
I would never collect a dollar. I would be a poor homeless guy if it wasn't for my wife, because I literally, and my agents always tell me that. They're like, "How was the gig?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's so fun. I would have done it for free." And my agents go, "I hope you did not tell the booker that." And I'm like, I might have." And they're like, "Just shut up. Just shut up." And I'm like, "No, but it was." So whenever people say to me, "How much do you want?" I always go, "I'm not allowed to answer that question. You need to call my agents." I'm sorry. I really want to answer, because I'd go, "I don't care.
it
I
doesn't
don't
matter.
care. I don't care about money at all."
Yeah.
And I guess, I read a book once about Jim Henson, the guy that made the Muppets, and
Hmm.
he just loved to create, and he just loved it. And he one time said to his manager, and he made a fortune, but he said to his manager, "I never want to see a figure again. I don't want to see a number. I don't like numbers. I don't want to know how much is in my bank account. I don't want to. I like my wife gives me a credit card and goes, go do what you got to do. Have fun. And I'll manage everything." And just, I'm
That's
kind of the
funny.
monkey. I'm kind of the monkey they let out of the cage.
Well,
And
that sounds so. That sounds exactly like what Lauren and I. It's just we're just reversed it, but yes, that sounds very similar.
yeah. So, but it's just so funny because you got into CrossFit. You weren't,
Yes.
you didn't come from like a sports background or anything like that. Did you know you were like crazy strong always?
No, I was not crazy strong. In fact, I was the opposite. Well, I was overweight. I was weak. I don't think I don't definitely wouldn't call me athletic, but I probably did catch things maybe relatively quick. So when I was doing something, it wouldn't take me too long to learn something new. But definitely not an athlete. Definitely not strong. And as I said, like also overweight. So it was just a. But again, this is pre teenage stage of my
Hmm.
life, and then come teenage, then whatever hormones or whatever happened in my body during that time definitely and at the same time also getting into fitness during that period of time just really over a relatively short time completely changed like the person both in the inside outside of who I am and who I am today. Um so so that's what was my introduction into CrossFit, and just got hooked on that idea of like what really got me intrigued was that the whole idea of like being able to see what you did yesterday and then to compare yourself to today and then see like the difference in how you become better. I think that was what really made me intrigued by CrossFit.
I ask this question to everybody. How'd you find it? How did you find CrossFit?
Yes, as my friend was he wanted to try it and had just asked me. Very boring here. I wish I had a good story. I should make up a whole story. But yeah, he just asked me if I want to go to the gym with him because this thing called CrossFit, and this is 2009 probably. This is early CrossFit days, and he just asked me if I wanted to go do this thing called CrossFit and try it out, and we did. And I
And
said, like, I was weak back then, so I couldn't do anything at all. It was embarrassing.
and this was a gym in Denmark?
Gym in Denmark, yeah, gym in Denmark.
And I didn't even know they had them over there by then.
We had a few.
I mean, that's so early.
It was early. Yeah, it was very early. I said 2010, 2009. It might have been 2010, but it was definitely not later because then in 2011 was the first time I signed up for the Open, I think. And I might be getting the dates wrong a little bit here, but it was early. I mean, it was. But again, I also had a long way to go. So the first couple of years was spent just trying to get my first unbanded pull up and stuff like that.
So how long did it take you from when you started to when you got into the games?
Yes, I think I said 2009. I actually think I have a record of me checking into that gym in October 2009. So 2009, and then in 2013 was my first year at regionals. In 2012, I tried to qualify, but didn't. But I was definitely I was on the cusp of qualifying. I remember doing that burpee. That was when they had the 7 minutes of burpees, and that was the one that kept me out. And I tried it 4 times over the span of 5 days, I think. And during that time, and during that window, I also had a competition actually in a local gym. So, and I remember like Sunday night, whenever the deadline was, I could just see my score wasn't good enough. It was 112 at that time. And I was just like, hey, I got to do this. I want to qualify. So I went out in the middle of the night. I think it was like 9 or 10 o'clock. And I had my brother put up a broom shaft up in a tree, and we taped up duct tape and made it like go out the line you had to touch, so I could do my burpees and then touch it. We had to put up like some projector lights or whatever. So here I was like 10 o'clock at night, and that Sunday when the deadline was there, trying to make it to the next stage, and I didn't. Sadly, it would have been a good story if I made it. But so 2012 I didn't make it. 2013 I made it to regionals and took whatever 9 to 10 in Europe. In the Meridian region, I think it was called back then. And then in 2014, I moved to San Diego and qualified with Invictus to the CrossFit Games, and that was actually the year we ended up winning.
Did you meet Lauren at Invictus, or did you meet her at the games, like when you were competing?
No, I signed up for Invictus and joined the gym, and that's where she was at.
Oh,
we talked about coming up with a cool story there too, but it's just as lame as it can be. I walked into the gym, she couldn't pronounce my name, and yeah, rest is history.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where it was. It might have been in Denmark. I tell this story when I talk about the coolest CrossFit gym. Do you remember the name of your CrossFit gym that you started at?
Mine was 4 letters. OBBC CrossFit. Such a lame name. OBBC.
I went. I think it was Denmark. It might have been Norway. Because I did Denmark and then went on to Norway to do shows. But I went to I Googled CrossFit gym, as I do everywhere. And I just find the closest one and I go to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to this Globo gym and I go upstairs to it. I think it's upstairs. It's just like a Globo gym. And I was like, hey, I look around. I'm like, do you guys do CrossFit here? And she goes, outside, go through the field or something. And I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah, just go outside, look for the building in the back. And I'm like, okay. So I walk out, I don't pay, I don't do it. I walk outside. There's some train tracks I have to cross, and it looks like a really kind of littered area. And then there's this building with a loading dock, and there's graffiti all over it.
Wait, I'm just gonna stop you there because everything you said right now sounds exactly like my gym. You got to find that name because that's exactly what my gym was. A Global gym upstairs. You would go up there, check in. You would walk down. You would go over to close to the train track in a building that had loading docks. So everything you said is literally describing my gym. It would be so wild if that's the one.
I think I was at your gym. So wait. So I walk in the door, and there's 4 dudes in there who look like they've all made the games. And there's no I don't think there was a workout on the wall or anything. They're all just doing their shit. And they all just kind of grunt at me, and they're playing Rocky IV soundtrack.
Yeah, we played Rocky a lot.
And they're playing the Rocky IV soundtrack, and they're all monsters. And I'm doing my workout do these guys, are they just wondering who I am and like, how did this guy get in? But no one asked me for money or to sign in or sign a liability waiver. And
Don't do that. Yeah.
I just did my own workout and kind of left and was like, did that just happen? Was I just at Rocky's training facility? I mean, that's
That's
what it felt like.
hilarious.
You know,
That's so
when
funny.
he trains to fight Ivan Drago, that's where I felt like I was.
Dude, we gotta have to check after this, and if we're exactly the same gym, because I'm not kidding you. The gym, so OBBC stands for Odense. It's my city. Bodybuilding. Yeah, bodybuilding. The two B's is bodybuilding center, and that was literally the name of it because it was a global gym. So it was the name of it. And you would go upstairs, check in. You had to go down and go over towards the track, and two loading docks, and like that sounds exactly like.
What's the name of the gym? I'm putting it into Google Maps right now, and I'm going to be able to tell if I was
So I
there.
don't think it exists anymore, but it was OBBC, but it was just called that in Odense. I no, that would be so random if you're there. There's no way. That would be so.
What was the name of the Globo gym?
So that was called OBBC, and it was
And
OBBC CrossFit, but it's now torn down. Like the gym is no longer there.
Oh, damn. That I think. What city was it in?
So that's in Odense, which is the third biggest city. So if you went to Copenhagen, like there's a couple over in Copenhagen. I know that most of the gyms in Denmark. We're such a small country. I basically family, but everyone over there.
So that was in Copenhagen?
No, the one I'm talking about was in Odense. It's the third biggest city in Denmark.
How do you spell it?
Odense.
Let me see if I was there.
I just clarify. Third biggest city in Denmark is like size of, I don't know, a warehouse.
Yeah, because I think we did shows there, and that'll. I forget what agency. I'll find out after the show. Okay. This is hilarious. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same place.
It's just like I can just resonate with everything you said. We had graffiti. We played Rocky all the time. If it wasn't Rocky, then it was just. I mean, it really was Rocky all the time. And Eye of the Tiger. It was the same soundtrack every single time. I still have it on my phone next to me here. Like it's the same soundtrack every single time.
I've told that story on this podcast so many times, and everybody laughs. And I'm like, you go over there, and there's like these big, Scandinavian people are like, and I just walk in and they're like, but
that's funny.